Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Orange Power Podcast. Casey Kendrick along with the head coach for the Oklahoma State Cowgirl golf team. Greg Robertson joins us. Coach, good to have you here on the show.
Great to be here.
Well, what a fun time of the year, right? I mean, all the things that have gone into this season get you to this point, and this is the fun time.
Yeah, I always say this is the most fun time of the year for golfers. That finals are done.
Yeah.
You know, all we have to do is just play golf, get ready for the NCAA championship, and then have a great tournament next week in Carlsbad.
You know, it's interesting when you look at your season. It's been a roller coaster, right? I mean, there's been some finishes where obviously you weren't shouting from the rooftops, but then there's finishes where you go, yeah, okay, this is who we really are. It has been just one of those kind of crazy years.
It has, and honestly, a lot's happened throughout the year. We're taking 6 players to nationals and 3 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior. So we're already a young team. But early on in the fall, we had a lot of injuries. We had a lot of just things that happened. Marta didn't play at all in the fall because of her back. Tara didn't play a couple tournaments because of her wrist. Lucy didn't play a couple tournaments because of her back. It was just, of course, Clem, who, was a top 10 scoring average in program history, gets a medical exemption and doesn't play this whole year. So, looking at all that and where they've come from the end of August until now, it's really been fun to watch. But you're right, it's been a big roller coaster ride.
And because of that, 2 things, 2 parts to that. Has this been more of a grind this year than maybe some of the years past?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just trying to figure out who's in the top 5, because, we've had different lineups really throughout the entire year. And especially down at the 4, 5, 6, 7 spots where everybody's so tight. And it's hard to kind of figure out, who you want to put in there from week to week. But yeah, trying to come up with different ways to practice, different ways to do things to, especially to work with these young players. It's at times you're thinking along the way, boy, this is a tough deal. It's a struggle, but watching them go into the Big 12 championship, almost win that, and then go to regionals and be competitive and have a chance really in the final round to win that. It's just been fun to watch.
Well, and that's the second part of that is, so because it has been a grind, because you've seen the ups and downs so drastic this year, is this may be a little more gratifying as a coach to see the growth, to get them to realize where they have gotten to despite maybe the start?
Yeah, and that's, we talked to them about, we've been telling them, you all have talent. We've got the talent, and now, we're starting to see the confidence and the attitude kind of match that talent. And it has been satisfying to watch that. And to know that you've got really your top 7 players coming back, to add to 2 more that's coming in on a good recruiting class, I think the future looks really bright.
So Coach Holder has obviously had a lot of influence in this program, right? Certainly within golf, not just the athletic departments. We sit here in the suites, but here as well. I find it interesting because I've heard this twice this year alone. You talked about having a couple of freshmen, a couple of sophomores, and a junior. And I heard Josh Holliday quoting Coach Holder. The golf ball doesn't know how young you are. It doesn't know how old you are. It is funny, right? But I always like to counter that. As much wisdom that is in that. No, but the kid swinging the club does.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you say that because the golf ball also doesn't know what tournament you're playing in.
Right.
And the one message that we gave to our team going into this postseason was, I tell this story every year going into the postseason. Because everybody wants to blow the postseason up.
Right.
These are bigger tournaments and are bigger games and big, whatever. And it's a story about Jack Nicklaus where a player asked him, Jack, you've won 18 majors. How do you do that? Those are the toughest tournaments to win. And he said, no, you got it all wrong. Those are the easiest tournaments to win because everybody else makes a big deal about them, and they're done before they even play. And he said, all I do is just go out and play golf.
Yeah.
And so that's the message that we gave them going into the postseason, is that in all reality, it's just 3 more rounds of golf in your life. But you put the title of NCAA Regionals or Big 12 Championship or NCAA Championship on it, and then players start trying to play a game that's not theirs, or they make this into a bigger deal than it is. If you can make a 3-foot putt on the putting green, just practicing, you can make a 3-foot putt on the last hole of the NCAA championship to win. But it's when you start blowing those things up, or like you said, the golf ball just doesn't know your age, doesn't know your gender, doesn't know what tournament you're playing. But your mindset is what's going to determine all that. And so we're just trying to get them, and I think they bought into that. Just getting a mindset that we're playing 3 more rounds of golf and just play your game.
And the way you guys did play at the Big 12s, and certainly the regionals had a pretty good tight hole in second until Arizona State made a little move there late. But ultimately, again, a very good regional for you. Are you playing as well now as maybe you have all year?
Yeah, for sure. And again, I just think it's the growth of this young team, and starting to believe in themselves. And when you get that young of a team, especially early on, not quite sure of themselves, back in August and September and October, maybe even early on this spring. But the more we've played and the more they've competed in qualifying, the more they've competed in tournaments, you could just see them continue to grow. And so, again, it's been fun to watch, and it's been good to see them have success, because this is a really hardworking team. And that's the one thing I've been very impressed with, especially from these freshmen, these sophomores, and obviously Grace. I mean, she's in a class by herself, not just with her play, but also with her work ethic. But they've just followed along, and you're just starting to see the results now.
Coach, let's talk about preparation a little bit. Obviously you talked about being able to play the toughest golf they played is against each other in home and practicing. Well, finally, you are back out there, right? Karsten's finally available to you guys.
Yeah, this is something they've been waiting for a long time, a year and a half, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And what's great about Karsten Creek is now Karsten, is the greens, the golf course itself is going to be great preparation going into NCAAs in terms of the firmness, how fast, a lot of the fall offs, the false edges on the greens, just exactly what we're going to see. So it's going to be great preparation. But yeah, the team's been looking forward to this for a long time.
Has the wait been worth it? I mean, I've heard nothing but incredible things. As you said, now Karsten, right? I've heard nothing but great things about it.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Not just the golf course, but the practice facility is what I think has really got a lot of our players excited. I went down there yesterday to set up a practice, and I mean, I'm just looking at all the different things we could do. I felt like we could be out there for 6 hours and not get through everything, but it's been like, I kind of related to, a kid in December 1st, waiting for Christmas while it was being built. And then finally, Christmas came a couple days ago when it opened. And our players are just, they can't get enough of it. It's been fun because we'll get out there, we'll practice for, 3 or 4 hours in the morning. And that'll be the practice we have for the rest of the day. They're going to eat lunch and they're coming back out because they can't get enough of it. But it's been fun.
Last thing, when you're talking about this tournament, right? It is a little bit different though, because it infuses stroke and then match play if you're fortunate enough to get there. Talk about the prep to be ready to handle, obviously trying to get to the top 8, but then once you get there, handling match play.
Yeah, the first job is just to get through the stroke play, and if you do that, we've played some match play and qualifying and done some of that, but most of these players, or all of them, have played some kind of match play.
Sure.
It is different in that it's a different format, but of course, most of our tournaments throughout the year or all of them are stroke play, and that's what makes this a little bit of a unique situation. But again, it's just golf is golf. You don't have to do anything different or spectacular when you're playing match play. You've got to play your game, and sometimes when you get into match play and it's one-on-one, you start focusing on that other person and not what you need to get done. And it's still not like football and basketball or these other sports where you can actually control a little bit what the other person does. You're playing against them, but you have no control over what they're doing. So you still have to focus on your game and just play your game and not try to do anything that you wouldn't normally do.
Is that how you create your lineup a little bit, is with a little match play? When it gets congested there at the bottom, do you? Hey, let's just go play around the golf.
Sometimes we'll have just like a playoff. It's not. We don't necessarily do it in a match play format. But if it's tight after we've done 3 or 4 rounds of qualifying, we may just have 2 of them go back out and just play 18 more.
Yeah.
So we're constantly competing, and we do that throughout the year, and that's in hopes of by the time we get to this point that they're seasoned, and you hope that the hardest tournaments that they play all year are the ones at practice, the ones at home, and so they can get to the tournament and just relax and play golf.
As I said when we started, exciting time of the year. It's going to be fun to see you guys. We're in the championship match just a few years ago, and we wish you the best getting back there again this year.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right, good stuff. Hey, that's going to do it for us. Again, appreciate Coach Robertson being here, and certainly appreciate you guys tuning in as well. We'll see you next time on the Orange Power Podcast.